everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you caught the most recent video that I posted before this one, I talked a little bit about citrus leaf drop, so why it happens and what to do to save your plants and prevent it from happening next year when you bring them indoors. Unfortunately, as you can see, I have another plant that is not doing well. We're getting a lot of yellowing leaves, a lot of leaf drop, and it's only getting worse and worse. And this was actually the plant I used in the last video to compare what a very lush and healthy plant looks like. Unfortunately, it's not looking well. This plant will die if I don't do something soon. And I'm going to zoom in here. Maybe you'll be able to spot the problem as well. But I actually have a lot of tiny little bugs crawling around the surface of the soil, on the leaves, up and down the sides of the pot. And they look really similar to fruit flies. These tiny little annoying bugs flying around though aren't actually fruit flies, but in fact are fungus gnats. This can really happen on any indoor plant. So you might be thinking, these little tiny flies are really more annoying than anything else. Why do I really need to deal with them? But the truth is, it's not really those tiny little flying insects that are responsible for damaging your plant, but they're the first sign that you have an issue that you have to deal with. So the female fungus gnat will lay eggs in the soil of your potted plant, anywhere from 30 to 200 eggs. Now those eggs eventually hatch into larvae, and that larva will feed on nutrients that's in your soil. Now the catch is, if they don't get enough of what they need from that soil in your potted plant, they eventually move on to the roots of your plant. Now at that time, you'll start noticing signs similar to what you would see if your plant was suffering from root rot. You're going to have stunted growth, yellowing leaves, and leaf drop, which is what I'm struggling with right now. And they'll continue feeding on the roots of your plant for about 2 weeks before they end up reaching their pupa stage, similar to when a caterpillar, for example, cocoons until it turns into a butterfly. So eventually, once that's over, they end up emerging as their adult form, that flying fungus gnat that you see lingering around your plants. So we're going to try something together. Before the end of this video, I'm going to give you an update to let you know whether or not it even worked, but we're going to try these sticky sticks. There are a couple of other options you can consider, like pesticidal sprays, or apple cider vinegar, which is usually what I do. So I would just fill a small container or ramekin like this, and I would place it near the plant, or actually just drop it on the soil in the plant. It did catch a couple of them, but I have quite a few plants in this room, and this video is not doing them justice. There are a ton of these around all of my plants. The infestation is out of control, so I really need to try something that has, good reviews of working, and the apple cider vinegar just isn't enough. I do have pets in the house, so I really don't want to spray anything in the house on the plants. I don't want to do that. So we're going to try these sticky sticks together, and we'll find out whether or not, they work and if they're worth it. But they come with quite a few sticky tabs and these little stakes that you stick in the pot. So I'm going to show you how to use these sticky sticks, but they're really easy. All you do is you rip off one of the strips, peel off the backing, and then you can either wrap it into a circle and put it on one of the tabs, or you can bend it flat and stick it in. For whatever reason, when I roll it into a circle, it tends to work better. I don't know if it's just coincidental, but that's the way that I've done it, and I've just noticed I've trapped more bugs that way. But really easy to use, really inexpensive, and you don't have to worry about spraying anything on your plants. You just set it and kind of forget it until you need to refill them. Okay, so it's been 2 days, but really after about an hour or two, I could have shown you an update because they started trapping the fungus gnats instantly. So you'll notice the tab, the sticky tab on the bottom, has way more bugs than the ones at the top of the stake. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't have put a sticky tape or tab at the top. I would have just done the bottom. I think the reason why the bottom ones are working so much better is, although these bugs have wings, they can't actually fly very well. They really do stay very close to the soil. So I would have only put the sticky tabs on the bottom and just rotated them out more often. I wouldn't even put anything on top unless maybe the plant was really large and you saw a lot of them climbing up the plant. But for the most part, mine are staying pretty close to the soil. But you might be wondering why this even happened. Like, how did these bugs even get in here? They might have traveled in the house on soil that I brought in. They could have been on one of my pets or on my jacket. You know, they just come in from outside. But they love moist soil. And I've been really lazy lately, and I haven't had my fan blowing around, moving all of the branches and the leaves like I normally do. Which really would have helped prevent this. So of course you don't want to overwater. You really want to always make sure that the top 2 inches of your soil are fully dry before you water your plants in the wintertime inside. But having a fan in your house blowing air on your plants for about 2 to 3 hours a day would have really helped prevent this, because the fungus gnats would have been deterred from even wanting to set up shop, and it would have dried the soil out a little bit faster. You can kind of see there's a little bit of buildup on the outside of my pots. I know it probably looks like mold, but it isn't. If you use terracotta pots like me, they are very porous. I specifically use these because I know I have a history of overwatering my plants. And that's really just minerals that are in the water that are coming through the pores of the pot. So that stuff can be cleaned off, but that isn't fungus. You'll know if you have fungus on your soil. You'll see more of like a fuzziness on the soil itself. But at the end of the day, if I can give you any tips, it would definitely be to water less if you can. It's kind of always better to underwater your plants than it is to overwater. It's really hard to come back from root rot, which I covered in the last video. These fungus gnats, I'm probably going to leave these little sticks in here for a couple of weeks to make sure I capture all of the ones that are flying around now and all the ones that I actually can't see that are living in the soil now. And then I will give you guys an update to let you know how the plants are doing. But if you're running through the same problem, you know you haven't really overwatered too much and you're wondering what's going on, this could be it. They might have come in off of another plant or whatnot. So hopefully this helps. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to be actually giving you an update on my indoor garden. I have some seedlings growing, and I'll go through some of the fun vegetables that I'm going to be growing this winter, and some really cool seeds that I got brought in of really unique plants that you wouldn't normally see being grown indoors or even in Canada. So stay tuned. I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any other tips, please comment below so we can kind of all learn from each other. And I'll see you guys next time.